welcome or welcome back to my channel, Tales from the Fifth House. My name is BGB Noah, and today my goal is to channel a clear and concise message for you, the viewer. Hope everyone is doing well. I am trying something new with the setup. I want to make sure I'm putting my face out there so you guys just know who you're receiving messages from. So feel free to let me know in the comments if this view works or if you prefer to see more of the cards. But we're going to dive right in. I've already cleansed and shuffled the decks. I'm going to shuffle a little bit more to just tap into the collective energy. Again, I do hope that you're all safe and well. It's Labor Day in the States as I film this. Extra day off for many of us. Not all of us, but for many of us. So if you do have the day off, I do hope you're making the best use of your time, whatever you see fit. Again, for those who are new to my channel, welcome. Please note that tarot is timeless, so it can pick up on past, present, and future energies. I'm just going to be tapping in to the energy right now to see if I can channel a message for us. And I say us because, as always, these messages really do resonate with me as well. Usually the things I share are things I need to hear myself. So as you're listening, please just take what resonates and leave the rest. If it doesn't sound like your story, then it likely isn't. Don't force anything. But I do encourage everyone to listen with an open mind and an open heart, as this might not be your message today. Or perhaps there's a gem that you can share with someone who does need to hear it. So let's dive in collective. Let's see, what is the message? Ooh, first card out. So we have the Four of Pentacles here. Four of Pentacles. Usually I get like possessiveness, like holding on to something. And usually if you have to hold on to something, then it's probably not for your highest good. It's just what I'm getting. But let's get some more. Four of Pentacles, put the card out. Second card out, we have the High Priestess. So what I'm getting from here, if you're holding on to something like that you know you need to let go of, that you're holding on to tightly, Spirit reminding you that you already know what you need to do in this situation, friends. You already know if something's no longer serving you, if something is actually to your detriment. It's time for you to let it go. And then we have the Sun card coming out with the Moon at the bottom. So very interesting juxtaposition there with the Moon and the Sun. Underneath that, we have the Ten of Swords, which I'm going to take as well. And underneath that is the Five of Swords. So what I'm getting from this, especially, this is like double moon energy. There could be something subconsciously that many of us in the collective are holding on to with this Four of Pentacles, something that's actually hurting us in the long run. It can be person, place, or thing. It can be a mindset, a limiting belief, but there's something that like I'm getting that we're holding on to in spirit, and like we know that this thing is not really benefiting us in this time, but for some reason we're having a really hard time, or we're struggling letting this thing go. And I feel like this could be like on a subconscious level with the Moon here. You might not even realize that you're holding on to this thing so tightly, but with the High Priestess being here as well, Spirit is saying like you know that this thing no longer serves you. Like you see all these swords that have just been like placed in this crow's back. Like maybe this person, place, or thing is actually like betraying some part of you. It stabbed you in the back with the person or a connection. Even a workplace, take what resonates and leave the rest. But I'm getting the feeling that when you actually let this thing go and just loosen up your grip and stop holding on, like you'll actually be much happier. We do have the Sun here. This is the happiest card in the tarot deck. This is pure contentment and happiness and fulfillment. We even have this like sunflower, beautiful sunflower here as well. And there's a horse. I know horses usually represent freedom in a sense. I just feel like many of us in the collective are holding ourselves back. And this can even be like mentally holding yourselves back from doing something you know you need to do, moving forward in some way towards the sun, towards your happiness. And you could be letting like naysayers, because we did see the Five of Swords here, like perceived kind of competition get in the way of your progress, or like knowing how to move forward, knowing what you need to do. But I'm going to get some more information. What is this Four of we holding on to? And under the Four of Pentacles, we have the Six of Pentacles. So this is definitely having to do with the 3D realm. And now we have the Five of Wands. So it went from the Five of Swords to the Five of Wands. So this is really about like perceived competition, perceived conflict. Even fives in numerology do represent change. So I feel like this energy is shifting. And like if you're holding on particularly to like relationships, connections, with people that are not reciprocal, that are not balanced. Again, with the Six of Pentacles here, this is all about giving and receiving, mutual beneficial connections where things are kind of balanced and one person is not given or taking more than the other. And holding on to connections where we know that things aren't balanced or they're not reciprocal actually end up hurting us in the long run. It's an act of self-sabotage because you are pouring into someone else's cup who's not pouring back into yours, which is leaving you emotionally imbalanced, which is leaving you feeling like you're in competition. You have to compete for people's attention. And again, I'm using a relationship as an example, a connection as an example, but this can be, in work, this can be in family. Like it doesn't have to be platonic or romantic relationship. But what I'm getting is that this is actually an act of self-sabotage, and many of us in the collective would be much happier if we were to cut out those connections, to move away from them, to understand that when you're really aligned with your soul tribe, there's no need to compete for attention or time or anything like that, or recognition or praise. It's freely given and it's freely received because you are surrounded by people who are aligned with you, who see you for what you truly are. And maybe that's what's being obscured here with the moon. People are not seeing you for who you truly are, and it's time to like let go of those people instead of holding on to those people. And again, I know that's easier said than done, especially if these are like long-standing connections, long-standing careers. But your happiness is on the other side of that decision to move forward, to let go, and to kind of move in a space where you're more appreciated and celebrated, not just for what you bring to the table, which, what you offer people, what you do for people, but for who you are as a person. Um, I'm going to pull some oracle cards because I did want this to be like a short and sweet message today. I do hope that that's making sense thus far. I'm going to pull some oracle cards to get some advice. I'm going to get two. Yeah, I'm really getting like, don't sabotage yourself by holding on to things that no longer serve you, especially in this time period. Like Venus is finally moving out of retrograde. Many of us spent some time like reflecting on the connections in our lives this past season, and now it's time to like put those reflections into practice. Ooh, so we have what reminds me I'm free with liberate. This is prairie smoke, and I did see the horse that represents freedom. So like we're never stuck anywhere. You are never stuck. um, yes, you can be in a situation that you feel like requires you to make tough choices, but that at the end of the day, we do all have free will and we do all have that choice. So if you're in a space where you're like, oh, but these are my friends since grade school, high school, college, etc., you're never stuck anywhere. You are free to move in a direction where more alignment can be found, is what I'm getting. Let's get some more. What reminds me that I'm free? Should love that question. Advice for the collective spirit. Advice for the collective spirit. Let's get one more. And there we go. Oh, two more. So we have which course takes me home map. Love this. And then we have what is mine for the doing work. Prairie mound ant. And we have compass plant. So again, like when I was picking up on that self-sabotage, it's like we sabotage ourselves when we hold on to connections, people, places, things, limiting beliefs, paradigms that no longer serve us for where we are in the journey. And like this journey is always a journey back to self. Like we were born in our most perfect state as babies, and we like kind of veer away from that. And I personally believe like one of the meanings of life is the journey back home, and home being the self, back into that perfect state. And I use the word perfection. I know like perfection doesn't exist, but just back into that state of wholeness, that state where you can actually be yourself in its highest expression, essentially. And I feel like sometimes people, places, and things can take us up or off, excuse me, Mercury retrograde things, off course with where that is, and who we are. And again, with all these planets being in retrograde, here's the time where we are reflecting, and we can honestly be real and be honest with ourselves. And how am I self sabotaging by not moving away and holding on to things that no longer serve me? And how can I move closer to those who are aligned with me, jobs, mindsets that are aligned with who I am and who I want to be, and where I want to be. And with this, what is mine for the doing? This is work that no one else can do for you. Sometimes we hold on to connections because we either want to do the work for them, and that's been my kind of lesson. I can't do the work, that internal work for other people. I can, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And that's something that I've been really kind of grappling with in my life. And that's a lesson that I'm learning. Like I can give all the advice and the guidance and all, but I can't force anybody in my life to do the work. And if they're not willing to do the work, then they got to go, because I'm doing the work. I've been doing the work, and I want to be around people who are also doing the work, because then we are getting closer to our best selves, our God selves. And that's where the real magic happens, when you can align with those people, and start to really co-create with the universe the world that you all want to see. um and again, I'm really getting like it's time for you to move away. Like you're not stuck, you don't have to hold on to anything that's stopping you from getting closer to home, stopping you from getting closer to yourself. But I'm going to pause the cards there, and I'm going to roll some dice. I have some story dice and some astrological dice, just to get extra confirmation and insights into this message. So we have a magic wand, and I was just talking about like that's where the magic happens, and it actually landed in between the moon and the card that says map, which course takes me home. Again, like you want to journey into yourself, and the more you do that, the more you align with people who are also like on the similar journey to finding themselves, and that's where the real magic happens. We also have a magnet. Again, I think this is all about attracting your soul tribe, really knowing who's for you and who is not, and being okay with walking away from that, friends. And then we have the magnifying glass, and it landed kind of close to high priestess, and that's like maybe you need to take some time to really tap into your inner knowing, your intuition, to help guide you back home to self. But let's roll some astrological dice. There's some numbers. Each number represents a corresponding astrological house, and then there's one sign dice that we'll use to kind of. It could be confirmation, but it's more so about the energy than the sign itself. Let's see. So we have Pisces, third house, which is Gemini energy, and then it's ninth house, which is Sag energy. So mutable energy across the board, friends, with Pisces, Gemini, and Sag. And I feel like the message here is like Spirit really wants you to be flexible with yourself, be adaptable, be ready to like something caught my attention back there. Oh, it's a little like swirly thing. Yeah, like trust yourself on this cycle, back to self, journeying back to the center. Life isn't a straight line. It doesn't just go up and then down. It's not linear in that sense. It's cyclical. It goes around, which means it has ups and it has downs, and you want to get back to the center. The center is you, and I feel like being uh, gentle with yourself on this process. We do have, again, Pisces, Sag, Gemini energy. Gemini and Sag are sister signs, they're opposites. So it's like similar energies, just expressed in different ways. One's fire, one's air. So I feel like this has a lot to do with your mindset, your thoughts. We did have the Ten of Swords being one of the cards out. And then with Sag, that's like that fire energy, that's action, again, work. Like, what can you do? And Sag is all about expansive energy. It's big. It's about growth. It's philosophical. It's about the the bigger picture. And I feel like Spirit wants you to look at the bigger picture. Don't get bogged down in like the day to day and the daily tasks, and see the bigger picture. And if someone, something is in your life that's thwarting you, stopping you from seeing the bigger picture, it's time to remove that thing from your life. And with the Pisces being here as well, Pisces is a very deeply emotional sign. Pisces rules the 12th house, the last house in, or the last sign in the zodiac, the last house in the zodiac wheel, and that's like a culmination of all the signs. So Pisces is all about enlightenment and like meeting God and knowing God, and I feel like that's all about meeting ourselves, right? We are a reflection. We are made in God's image, and when you can meet yourself and accept yourself, then you are tapping into like that God like power that's within us all. But I'm gonna stop it there. I do hope that this message resonates with all who come across it. Feel free to let me know if it did, and thank you for spending time with me today. I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye.